It is Minneapolis. We're watching it.
Dante's Boxing Nation. Dante's
Boxing Nation. Keep watching. Keep watching.
What do you think about Triple G? Is he overrated? Is he underrated? What do you think?
He's good, I mean, no doubt. So, but yeah, he has to fight with somebody on his level, you know, as a mentality, as an athlete, on the same level.
What have you been thinking about the Gennady Golovkin hype? All his victories, are you a believer in him?
Well, until he fights somebody that's going to fight him back, you know, it's hard to say. But, you know, that guy can punch real hard and he got some skills, so who's to say he's not real?
I'm still waiting for him to fight somebody, you know. I'm still waiting for him to fight somebody. I'm still waiting on him to do something that is more than just average. I'm waiting on him to do something that is more than just basic. Don't keep giving me the status quo and then expect me to, as a fighter, I've been in there with the best, and you don't get to tell me how I feel about boxers. But that's what they're doing nowadays. They're telling us how we should. I don't think I want those. I don't really want that color. They're trying to tell us what we should feel about fighters. Well, you know me, I tend to be a little bit different. You know, you can't tell me what I feel about fighters. You have to let me figure that out for myself.
He knows what he's doing in the ring there. You know, is he perfect? No, nobody's perfect. He's shown some susceptibility, and you would think that maybe it's with a guy who could box and a guy who has a good jab and a guy who won't engage him and a guy who's able to control range and be consistent in those kind of, you know, parameters. But that takes quite a guy to do that against a guy who puts the pressure on and who is together in areas that Golovkin's together in. That takes a pretty damn good guy to do it, and so far nobody's done it. But has he been tested to the highest limits in this business with the highest stratosphere of fighters? No, he hasn't, but he's done a job with who he's been in there with. I never get too high or too low with what people say. It's always in the middle somewhere. Because it's like, you know, when people say, you know, he's this indestructible monster that's going to clean up all the divisions and this force that can't be reckoned with. I never believed that fully, but you know, I believe that you know, he's a guy that with who he's in there with, he gets the job done. And then when I saw him against Lemieux and everybody started saying, oh my God, what a boxer. You know, he's been hiding that dimension to him. Again, I took that with a critical eye, with a grain of salt, not just for the sake of being critical, but for the sake of looking at what is really there. Not what we just want it to be. And not jumping, you know, just jumping too quick to just sprout out words out of your mouth. Superlatives or negative, either one. But to look at what you're looking at and then make a properly educated call on what you saw. You know, yeah, he used a better jab in that fight, but yeah, it was against a guy in Lemieux who's only a certain level fighter. I mean, please, I mean, not knocking Lemieux. He's a tough guy, he's a strong guy, he's a gutsy guy, but he's a guy who's available. He's a guy that, yeah, I would think that a guy with 400 amateur fights could show a jab against. You know, and he was available to show that jab against, and he did. But does that make him, you know, Jake LaMotta? Does that make him Sugar Ray Robinson? You know, does that make him Carlos Monzon? Does that make him Marvin Hagler? No.
I really want guys to understand that when they tell me Golovkin is great, and I say, what makes him great, then they have no reply for me. I'm gonna tell you this. I had to fight the very best guys in the world all the time. Here's my question. Since when did it become commonplace, for a guy to win the world title, then have to be moved slowly? So for me, I mean, I have to ask myself, if by chance, you have to move him slowly after he wins the world title, how did he get there in the first place if you got to move him slowly after he wins the world title? You fight everybody. That's what I was taught. I was thought you was ready for the world when if you're a world champion, that means you should be ready to fight everybody in the world. He fought David Lemieux. He turned down the best fight. He turned down some of the best fighters, other best fighters in the world to fight David Lemieux. Okay, some people may find that, don't find that, what's the term I want to use? Stupid, but I do.
Although, too, the one thing I disagree with, that he ain't no monster. Like what Max said, ain't no such thing as no monster. We're all fighters. And there ain't fighters in that division. There are fighters that are not afraid to get in the ring with a monster, or a so-called monster, because you beat the monster, now you the man. So, I mean, that encourages people to go back and train harder because they want to beat that monster. So don't say he a monster like you scared of him because you don't box. But other boxers ain't really afraid. They just want to make sure they get their money's worth when they go in there with it. That's it.
Oscar, you said you hope Keith Thurman is not the next Golovkin, so I have to ask you, who do you think is better out of the two? Thurman or Golovkin?
Thurman.
Okay.
Is better? Yeah, Thurman.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Thurman. Thurman is... See, one thing about Golovkin, he's tough. He's a strong fighter. When Canelo was sparring with him up in Big Bear, Canelo mentioned, look, he's strong. He's very strong. That's, a lot of fighters are strong. And there's ways of beating strong fighters. But one thing about Keith Thurman is that he knows how to move. He lateral, uses combinations. He thinks in the ring. He's like, Golovkin is a fighter who has to beat you with his power. He has to. He can't beat you with moving side to side or going back. See, one thing about Golovkin is that I learned, because I've studied him, is that if he moves back, he can't fight. He can't fight. He can't. If he moves back, but try and move him back. Good luck.
When I would be wearing a Golovkin hat if he wins this fight. And I don't know that it's going to happen because it's all about the money. But Andre Ward. For me, Andre Ward doesn't get enough credit. And look, some of it's his own fault. He went AWOL. But he's a good human being, so that's where it starts with for me with him. And he's a guy that he brings the whole package in the ring. He's technically solid. He can fight inside, he can fight outside, he can adjust, he can counterpunch, he could do whatever needs to be done, but the most important thing, he's mentally together. He is at this level, at the highest of levels, which is what you aspire to be in anything, mentally, where he doesn't beat himself, he doesn't falter, he doesn't unravel, he doesn't disintegrate. He doesn't, like I used to say on ESPN Friday Night Fights, he doesn't look like a puddle on a warm summer day that evaporates right in front of your freaking eyes. No, Andre Ward is the goods, mentally, technically, physically. And if Golovkin ever beat him, well, then I would be, I'd be wearing a Golovkin hat.
Gennady Golovkin, man, I'm trying to tell you, man, all he needs to do is fight somebody his size right now and get his ass whooped. Let him fight, what's the guy's name? What's the guy that we trying to get him?
Andre Ward?
That's the guy he needs right there. If you want to get his ass tore up.
The question is, who would you want him to fight in the middleweight? I think he goes through every middleweight. So that's a real problem. Now, I think Golovkin can only be challenged going up to 168.